A good message.
What up? What up? This your boy Twink, the CEO of Sacred Apparel, the world's #1 inspiration and motivational urban streetwear brand.
Anna Johnson, CEO of Sacred Life Coaching.
Welcome to Sacred Society Sunday episode
28.
28.
Hallelujah.
And today's title is Strategy.
Yes.
And the question is,
can anybody hear us?
I ain't got no volume.
I don't know. I don't see you live yet on mine. Let's just wait and see.
We've been having technical difficulties with the volume.
Like last week.
Yeah, a week before.
That was,
yeah.
No, it was last week, wasn't it?
Anyway.
Yeah.
It turned out I had my earbuds connected, but I disconnected them for some reason.
It's still not. The thing is, this is a powerful message, and obviously there's some interference.
How you gonna snatch your phone when I'm trying to think? Is it this it? So I'm not sure if y'all can hear us or not.
Is that me watching? Who's watching?
So let us know if you can hear us.
Let's give it a few minutes. Somebody's there.
Okay. So, can you hear me? Can you dig it?
You're so dramatic.
I don't know.
Yeah. I told Dustin.
Your phone ain't picking up. So, anyway. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Anyway,
you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
We don't even know if anybody hears us.
Hey.
Like, we can wait a few minutes. You're being in a hurry.
Anna.
Hold on.
Somebody's there. See?
Yay!
So
we've got noise. We got sound. Hallelujah.
I'm dramatic, right?
Be quiet.
The title of today's message is Strategy.
And this is it's an important topic because we've had to do this 3 times?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, do you have a strategy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a plan? How you watching? You all late watching.
I'll be quiet.
Do you have a plan? The word tells us in, I believe it is Proverbs 16:3, to write your plans and Yahweh will do his part.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hallelujah. Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, we have to do our part in the natural.
In the natural.
And I know y'all keep hearing us talk about that because it's very important. It's important to do our part in the natural.
Hold that phone up because we don't.
Girl, my arm getting tired.
Hold that
I didn't
phone
bring
up.
the stand.
All right. You can hear us loud and clear.
All right. So I know y'all continue to hear us say, do your part in the natural.
Right.
And y'all will do the supernatural. And that's because that's important. We have to take the first steps. We have to take those steps and do what we're called to do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You have to start walking. Okay? Regardless of what it is, you can't do anything unless you start it. Nothing can happen unless you start. But it's like hopping in your car and you want to go somewhere, but you get in the car and you don't start the car. Mm-hmm. That ain't doing your part in natural. You got to start the car and go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some of you, God has given you a vision, but vision alone will not bring success.
Nope.
So when you have a vision, you need strategy. You need strategy. And so I think a lot of us, especially people that are a little more on the spiritual side, have a tendency to just get that vision and take off and running with it.
Yeah.
And it's good to have vision and be ambitious and wanting and ready to serve. But we also need to remember to sit with the Father and get strategy. Right. Our Father works in increments. He could have created the earth and everything in it in one day, but he didn't do that.
Right.
He did it in 6 days and he rested on the 7th day.
Right.
So it's really important that we have a strategy, and we don't want it to be a man-made or a human-made strategy. We need it to be a supernatural strategy.
Right.
Meaning where you've actually had partnership with God.
And the thing is, and actually I said I wasn't going to say it, but it goes along with what we're talking about. Yah gives us visions. Mm-hmm. The vision that he gives us is his investment. Right. So he's investing in us, giving us the vision. So with anybody who invests in somebody or something, you're going to want a return on your investment, right? And you're going to are you giving a return? Is he getting his return on his investment?
Right. You know so he's giving you a vision. That's a big investment. And he's more than willing and able to help you be successful with that vision. But a lot of times we just take the vision and we run with it, or we look at the vision and we say it's impossible.
Right.
And so what we need to remember to do is take the vision, sit down, get quiet with Abba, and get the steps and get the steps. And sometimes we only get a step at a time. Yeah. But we have to be faithful with that one step.
And you have to do it. You have to be obedient with it and consistent with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was a problem I was falling short with a lot of things, being consistent. We're in this with everything. We'll start off strong with things, and then after a while, you kind of like damper off a little bit, and you don't go as hard.
You lose that zeal.
Fire. You don't go as hard as you originally was with it.
But we know that we're called to be faithful. We're called to be faithful stewards.
Right.
And so some of you may be like, well, I mean, I've tried strategy and it doesn't work. Well, you can try a strategy, and if it doesn't work, then you just go back to the Father and say, I don't understand. And he may say, go back and do it some more.
Keep doing it. Because sometimes it may seem like it's not working, but it's working. Right. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of reminds me of when Elijah the prophet, he began to pray for rain. And he gets down and he puts his head between his knees and he's praying, and he tells the servant, go look and tell me what you see.
Because I don't see nothing out there.
And then he goes back and he says, tell me what you see. And he says, what, the size of a hand or whatever. So sometimes we just have to continue to like wait for that strategy to do what it needs to do. But we know that we serve a God of strategy. I mean, everything. I mean, he has a strategy for everything. And there's a strategy for the vision that he's given you. Right. So, don't get overwhelmed, or let us not be foolish and just run off and try to make the vision happen. Right. I've been guilty of that because I'm a worker.
Seek wise counsel.
I've been guilty. Yeah.
You have to seek counsel.
But most importantly, we have to seek him. So,
but that's what I was talking about with wise counsel. I wasn't talking about none.
Yeah. Well, so and I know just even with my own business, like, Abba has called me to do things that don't even make sense from a world perspective, like things that don't even make sense.
Right.
So you've got to trust him, and you got to trust his strategies, and not put confidence in what you think you know.
Right.
Go
jump off the cliff and then wonder if you got the parachute later.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you tell you to just run and do it. Do it.
Right. And the other thing is that we have to be open to direction from him. If you want to be successful, you have to be open for direction from him. You get the direction, but then you've got to be okay for correction. Because he's going to send you out there. He's going to maybe let you make a mess and make mistakes, because that's what we do with our own children.
Word up.
And then you're going to come back, and then he's going to give you more correction and more instruction. So we have to get past our pride in order to be successful, in order to fulfill the vision.
So is direction, is it?
Direction, correction, and instruction. Yeah. Okay. It's a process. Yeah. It's a process. So we have to remember to stay humble. We have to remember to stay looking to God. We have to remember that the vision comes from him, and we cannot fulfill it without him. Yeah. And we see
if you do try to, it's just going to be a big mess.
Right. And we see this with Israel. When they were successful, they would inquire of a prophet. And and the prophet would tell them whether, Yah was going to go with them or he wasn't with them. And then there would be some sort of, there'd be a strategy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, sometimes Abba would just call them to just go in the natural, just go to a certain place. Like even with Jericho, they just went, and they didn't, what they did was they were blowing shafars, right? Trumpets. Yeah. And they weren't even doing what you would think was warfare. They might look foolish.
This thing about somebody tells you to march around something,
but they were doing something in the natural.
What about the weapons?
Right. They were doing something
the bulldozers.
In the natural. They were doing something in the natural. Right. And when we do something in the natural, the spiritual is welcomed. Right. It's welcomed. So we also look with the prophet Elijah. When he went to show them the might of Yahweh, what does he do? The first thing he does is he builds an altar. He does a physical thing. And then after he completes it, then he does a spiritual thing. He prays. Right. And when he prays, what happens? Fire from heaven comes. And then he does something in the natural. After that happens, he tells the people, who are you for? Who are you
Right.
for? And they destroy the prophets.
So
the
you
false
have
prophets.
to do your
You have
part in
to
the
do your
natural
part.
first
And it can
in
be-
order for the supernatural to be done.
So sometimes, sometimes we get, it's just part of our human nature. We may get a little unbalanced where we are super spiritual or supernatural. Okay. And really,
excuse me. I can't stop yawning.
but we really need to be doing both.
Right.
So first do your natural part. What is it that you've been called to build in the natural?
What did he tell you to do?
Then you pray for the spiritual. You pray for the spiritual. You pray for Abba to feel just like he created man. He made man out of dust. He creates man. But the breath of life is not in man yet. Then the Spirit came.
Right.
So we can learn from him and we can follow his ways, and see how he works. How he works.
Yeah.
So a lot of you have been given a vision. You may be praying and praying and praying, and that's great, but you're doing a spiritual thing. What are you doing in the natural? What have you built in the natural that Abba can flow and work in?
And do his part.
Yep. And do his part.
Yeah.
So he's got the spiritual covered. Our spiritual work is to pray and maybe to fast and to believe. That's our spiritual work. And to meditate on his word and to seek him. But we have natural bodies. What's wrong?
I put the thing down on my knee.
But we have natural bodies, and we live in a natural world.
Yeah.
So we need to do our part in the natural to build things for the sake of the kingdom. So
Sweet.
Don't be discouraged. Let's get balanced.
Don't get discouraged at all.
Let's get balanced. Our anointing.
Come up with a strategy.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Right.
Plan it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And take your plans to the Father.
Right.
Take your plans to y'all like, look, this is what I got.
I mean, we
You know what I mean?
have anointed prophets that had to do things in the natural. We have our own Messiah that did things in the natural. Like when he would heal, there was something that typically he would do, but he would do something in the natural, like pick up dirt and spit on it, put on somebody's eyes.
Yeah.
Or there are things that we need to do in the natural. Same thing with when he fed the multitude. He had something natural he was working with.
Right.
He took the little bit that he had and he did something spiritual with it. He blessed it. He did something spiritual with it, and the provision came.
Right.
So we need to take our natural things. We also have the widow with the oil. She had a little bit of oil, but she had to go do something
She
in
had
the
to do her natural part.
and then the spiritual happened.
Yeah.
So some of us may have it backwards. We may be doing the spiritual, which is good and important, but we don't want to forget the natural.
Right.
But don't just go out there doing the natural without getting a strategy.
Seeking,
Yeah. Seek his face, find the step. He may give you a step by. He may just give you one step at a time, but make sure you don't wait and think, well, I've got 5 more steps. I better not do anything. No, do whatever step he's given you to do.
And seek him I don't even know if this is the one that I said on, but every morning is like I go
you haven't
before.
said this one yet.
Okay. Every morning, after I spend my time with him and after I finish praying, whatever, I go to him and I'm like, okay, Father, what is it that you want me to do today? What is it that you have for me to do today? Let me know, lead me, guide me. You know what I mean? Give me ears to hear and eyes to see. And so we have to seek him daily on what it is that he have for us to do. Because what he have for us to do today may not be the same as what he needed us to do yesterday. You know
And
what
then
I'm
we
saying?
have to obey.
Yeah.
Because it may not make sense to us.
Obedience and consistency.
It may not make sense to us, and so we may just kind of like dismiss it.
Right.
But we have to seek him every day. The word tells us in all our ways to acknowledge him, and he will direct our steps.
Yep.
So we need to acknowledge him. Every morning he needs acknowledged,
Right.
because that's how you start your day. You need to acknowledge him every morning. You need to let him set your agenda.
Yep.
And just be obedient. But listen, if you're struggling with a vision, then seek strategy. And you may only get one step. But we know that I'm telling you, our God is a God of strategy. He does things in increments. This may be hard for Americans to understand, but he does things in increments.
And we ain't always going to understand what he tell us to do anyway.
Right.
We don't always understand it. It's
You
just
want
like,
to look at increments?
just
Look at Joseph's life. Look at Joseph's life. That's increments right there.
Man.
That's increments.
Yeah.
Little increments, and they matter. They matter. And he's working everything out in that increment. So instead of us always trying to understand what he's doing, we just need to trust that he is doing.
Right.
He's
Just know
doing
that
a
he's
good
doing it.
thing. He's doing a good thing. So Do you have a strategy? Well, first, let's ask, do you have a vision? If you don't have a vision, go get your vision.
Oh, man, you got to get the vision.
But you get your vision, then you go get your strategy.
And then give him a return on his investment. Which is the vision that he's giving you.
And listen, like, trust him. It may not make sense.
And not everybody knows what their vision is. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you don't know what your vision is or your plan, you go seek him on that first. Right. Mm-hmm. And what is it that he has for you? What I'm trying to say? Right. What does he have for you to do? He has a goal for all of us.
Humanity all has a very common, we have a common vision, and that is we are to go out, we're to subdue, and we're to take dominion, and we are to be the salt of the earth, and we are to have light within us, and we are to be disciples, we're to be followers of Yeshua. So we all have vision. If we're reading the word of Yah, then that is our vision.
Right.
But we also all have callings that are unique to us. And so finding out what that calling is. And not, if it seems small, not looking at it like it's less than, because it's important. You never know who you may be raising. Like if you're a stay-at-home mom and you think, well, I'm really not doing anything. You don't know who you're raising.
Right, no clue.
You have no idea who you're raising or who you're teaching or who you're homeschooling.
But do your natural part in doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Part.
And let Yah do the supernatural part.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no such thing as a small vision.
No.
Not when the vision belongs to him. There's no such thing. He doesn't do little. He does big. So, all right. So, Sacred Society, do you have a strategy? Do you have a vision? Let us know in the comments below.
And are you giving him a ROI, a return on his investment of the vision? Mm-hmm. It's a very important part. And some of don't be like the cat with the talents. You know what I'm saying? It was 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? He gave different amounts to each one, but the last one, you know what I'm saying?
He was afraid.
And what he said, Master, I know you're a harsh man and blah, blah, blah. And the master's like, if you knew that, why didn't you just do something?
If you knew it, you knew that you should bring me more.
Give me something back.
Something
you know what I mean? A little bit of interest. But he didn't do nothing. So what was he? He was a wicked and lazy servant.
Right.
So we have to do our part. We have to do something. You know what I'm saying?
And listen, sometimes we get deceived or we lean on our own understanding and we think that we're unable to do something, or, we think we're not able. We're not able to do it. In a lot of times that's just a lie. Yeah. We're able.
It's a bald-faced lie.
But we may be needing strategy. We may hit a block and it's because we don't have strategy. If you have vision, all you need is strategy.
Right.
If you have vision, all you need is strategy. And you don't all you need is one step. Father, give me we see it with the children of Israel. Look at their strategy on how Abba worked on bringing them out of Egypt.
Quit karate chopping my arm.
That doesn't hurt. Stop playing like that. So I'm trying to show increments. Okay, focus.
Chop me away, baby.
So look at how he brought the children of Israel out of Egypt.
Yeah.
There were increments. There were strategies.
It's a process.
There were instructions that he gave Moses. Even before the tent where his glory came down upon that tent. That tent had to be put up in the natural first.
Yeah.
We don't see him that showing up and then him showing up and then the tent. We see the tent showing up and then him showing up. So we have got to do our parts, people.
Natural,
We have got to do our parts.
Strategize.
And what it reminds me of is like when we came to Texas. We didn't have enough gas to get to Texas. But he said, go to Texas.
Just go.
So we had enough.
We're like, man, look,
we weren't even halfway.
We stack up a little bit.
Yeah, we weren't even halfway to Texas. Okay, we weren't even halfway there.
No, we were still in North Carolina.
No. We were on the road. We were like in South Carolina.
Shoot,
and Georgia.
North Carolina's like 4. No, we would. I'm thinking a different route.
Listen,
so, yeah.
focus. So, but
I'm strategizing.
No, you're not. But anyway, we were on the road.
Yeah.
And we were following that step. It didn't make any sense, but then the funds started to come in to get us where we needed to be.
Right.
That we had exceedingly and abundantly what we needed to get where we needed to go. Yep. But if we would have focused on our own, we did our thing in the natural, which said you shouldn't. Like everything said we shouldn't.
Yeah,
everything said we shouldn't. We didn't have enough money. Some people would be like, "That's irresponsible taking 6 kids."
And hitting the road.
Yeah, and a camper and hitting the road. Campers use lots of gas.
We just did what he said do.
Yeah. So we know all about like listening to his strategy. I mean,
2 cars in a camper.
Yeah, 2 cars in a camper. We needed double gas.
Yeah.
But just same thing when I opened my office, a couple years ago. I didn't have any money for the office, but I was told to go office shopping. I took the steps in the natural. So I got vision. I needed an office. I needed a place to work. And I followed that vision and and got this. And I got the steps from him. And I know the steps from him because there were miracles all around the steps.
Right.
So I think we've run. I can't drive this thing home enough. Do your part in the natural. Build it and pray. Build it in the natural. Welcome his spirit into it. Trust that he's going to do it. Look at the children of Israel. We see it time and time and time and time again. Remember that your God works in increments.
Yes.
The enemy will say, well, it should be done. Or your flesh will be like, it's, this is taking a long time. No, remember he works in increments. I'm telling you,
your flesh can be like, yo, it's taking a long time.
Or maybe try to get you to abandon it. Like, this is not going to work. Yeah. The devil is a liar.
It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just keep it popping. Keep doing what he told you to do.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So, yeah.
All right. So, we want to hear your comments down below. And can you think of anything else? I can't preach about this one enough. But
that's it.
Hallelujah. So, we're going to be doing our part in the natural and listening. And we're going to do our part in the natural. We're going to be listening for strategy.
Yes.
And we're going to be just believing that Yah's going to show up when we do our part. So all right.
Yep, that's it. Do your part. Let him do his part. Give him a return on his investment. Till next time, live life sacred. Peace.
Shalom.